this is kind of a weird video, but today I wanted to talk to you about a different topic, a topic that doesn't have anything to do with makeup or beauty. It's just something that we all go through and suffer in our lives, and that's grief. When we lose someone we love, whether they're close to us or not so close to us, we go through it a number of times, and sometimes it hits us harder than others, and it hits us really hard the first time especially because we don't know what to expect. And it's something that I feel like I can talk to you guys about because I've gone through it, and I want to help people sort of go through it themselves, and I want to sort of talk about how it feels and how you can handle it, how I handled it. Everyone goes through it differently. Everyone goes through it at different times in their life. Certain people, it doesn't faze them as much. For me, I lost my mom 4 years ago. It was the summer before grade 9. I'm sure a lot of you who have stuck with me in both my channels all these years know about it. Again, like, it's something, now I've got to the point where, like, I'm fine with talking about it and tears don't come to my eyes. I do, even after 4 years, sometimes I do. And when I'm in bed or in the shower or whatever, I do cry because it's a person that's been a part of your life for so long, in my case 14 years, who brought me up, isn't around anymore, and she's not going to be there to see me in prom and graduation and whatever. But it's something that I've learned to cope with, and I've learned that perhaps she won't be there physically, but maybe she'll be there watching over me. If you're Christian, you might believe in heaven, and that's what I believe. I believe she's still with me. She might be with me now, smiling at me, making this video. I kind of want to help other people realize that they're not alone either. If you ever need to talk, if anything ever needs to happen, I'm here. We might have never met, but it's nice to just talk about it, let your feelings out, and I'd be more than happy to listen. If I look down, if I don't cut this properly and I look down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So the first thing is, for me, I knew 2 weeks in advance, and I think I knew most of my life that my time with her wasn't going to last as much as, say, a normal person, because she was sick for most of her life. I knew 2 weeks in advance that she was going to die. I never ever say goodbye to people anymore. If you're my friend and you've heard me say goodbye to you, that means it sort of slipped out, and as I walk away I will realize what I said, and I will, like, be kicking myself for it, because I hate saying goodbye, because I feel like if I say goodbye, it's like I'm never gonna see you again, and I'm really afraid of loss. But I know it's something that everyone goes through, but it is a fear that I have of losing people that I love, since I've lost someone so early. Now, I'm really fortunate because some people might have lost parents, loved ones at the age of 10, or lost them all at once. I'm not saying that my predicament is worse than others. I'm just saying that mine is what I know. The day of, it can happen midnight, it can happen at lunchtime, it can happen 10 a.m. in the morning or 11:59 p.m. at night. It can happen anytime. News can reach you anytime. You can be there, you can not be there, you can be in Cuba and find something out. But the thing is there's no one way to react when you get the news, when that day when you find out. I remember when I was told, I remember just sort of sitting down, and then I cried. But that was my way of, I know some people get really angry, they start throwing things. It depends on the person you are. There's nothing really I can say what to expect then, because it all depends on the situation and the circumstance as well. And if for example, you don't cry, you don't feel anything, you feel numbness, if it just doesn't faze you the first day, then don't think you're a heartless bitch, because you're not. It may take you longer to process the information. It may take you 2 days, it may take you a month to process the fact that you're never going to see this person again. And that's okay. It doesn't make you heartless, it just makes you different. And we're all different, we all handle it differently. So if you get the news and you don't do anything, you don't cry, it's not because you never loved them, it's because you just haven't been able to process information, you just might be in shock. So it's like when you hurt yourself, you don't feel the pain until afterwards or something, it's just shock, your body's in shock. Okay, so there's another big milestone, and it's the funeral. I've only ever been to one funeral. Funerals differ. If you go to an Italian funeral, you get pretty much dead quiet. If you go to an Irish funeral, I've been told that it is absolutely insanely loud, and people are making jokes, and people are just honoring the life of the deceased. And I remember being with my friends, and they were trying to cheer me up, and I remember actually laughing at the funeral. I remember crying too, crying like a maniac, being completely depressed, but I also remember laughing. And I think it's important that you do laugh, because you are mourning, but you are celebrating this person's life, right? You're not saying, oh God, he's dead, blah, blah, blah. You're celebrating the life they've lived. So remember that too. Being at the funeral, I remember coming home and thinking, because I know for me, a lot of the time, because my mom was in the hospital for a really long time, so for me it was like, oh, maybe she's still in the hospital. It felt like that. I just hadn't gone to visit her. So it was something that I still had to process. Like, I knew it had happened, but I still had to process it fully. And when I finished the funeral, I kind of realized, yeah, it wasn't necessarily closure exactly. It was just like, yeah, this is really happening. And I kind of feel better for it. I kind of felt like I was lifted a little bit away. It was lifted off my shoulders, like a bunch of confusion was sort of gone. And again, that stage might happen for you. It might never happen for you. It probably will, but so for the weeks that follow, it's going to be maybe a little tough for you. For other people, again, they might just suffer in silence, suffer together. It's really important to talk about it. Talk with your peers, talk with your family. And don't be afraid of crying to other people, because you've gone through this, and other people are going to go through it too, so they're going to definitely respect you for who you are, and they're not going to think you're stupid for crying because you love this person. For some people, depending on how close you are to the person, depending on your own emotional process, you might feel already nearly healed. You might feel like, okay, I can handle this, the rest of my life is going to be good, this person, I'll miss her, but you know, others, it might just be starting. Sometimes you can have a week off of school, but if you don't think you can handle that, it's not the right time for that, because if senior year or something, then you might feel a little bit distracted in class and you might not be able to focus. You might just find yourself crying out randomly, like just start crying, or the littlest thing can remind you of that person. I remember I was in choir 2 years later, and we had a song. It wasn't about mothers and daughters, it was about soldiers going off to war and dying, and that really triggered something, and I started crying. But like, that's normal, because I still hadn't gotten over the grief. I was still deep in it. I don't think I'm deep anymore. It's been 4 years, but I do think I'm still in it. I'm still grieving. You might have trouble breathing, you might have trouble sleeping. Again, these are all normal things, so don't worry about it. These things, it will get easier. The feeling never goes away, but it will get easier. All you need to do is just be patient with yourself at this stage, because it really is up to you. And you can't punish yourself for not being over it. You can't punish yourself for being over it. You just need to be, it's up to you, and whatever happens in your own course, your own life. If you lead a busy life, you might not be thinking about it that much. So again, there's another reason why it might be over. It might not be over, sorry, awkward. I'm just getting uncomfortable. Okay, so a few months later, most people still miss this person, you know, especially if they've been really close to you. But for a lot of people, that crushing feeling, that like heartbreak has sort of gone away, and it's sort of cleared up for you. You still miss the person, but you're not grieving as hard as you were before. One thing I do have to say is, for me at least, I was still distracted by it. I was recommended by a school counselor. I was recommended to, a school counselor, and I was talking to her, and it really helped. So if at this stage you're sort of still feeling this grief and it's still distracting you from your everyday lessons, or you know, you feel distracted when you're driving or whatever, then it's really smart to go and talk to a counselor. Or we have one special counselor in our school for bereavement and stuff like that. We have groups and stuff in my school. I never did the groups because I felt like it would be too emotional for me. I was invited again to do it this year, and like after 4 years, but I said no, I won't be able to handle it. And it's up to you to know that, but it's always good to talk to a person. You can talk to a counselor one-on-one. There's no harm in that. You can cry as much as you want. They won't say anything to anyone. So just remember, it's okay. They understand it's their job to listen to you, to give you advice. And remember, if you go on living and you don't have to cry all the time, you don't have to be sad all the time, you don't have to feel guilty about moving on, because they'd want you to. If they really loved you, they'd want you to be happy and living your life normally as if they were still around, right? Honestly, they're always going to be in your heart. If you're not crying about it, doesn't mean they're gone. Okay, this is my favorite part. The future. How do you handle your future? This is probably one of the hardest things, because the future is when they're not around. The future is going to you done your wedding, going through your wedding and not having your mom to watch you. Is not having her to talk to you about boys or about just life in general, about girl problems. If you're a guy and you lose your father, it's the same way. If you lose a brother or sister, that friend, that lifelong friend is gone. So again, it is hard, and every now and then you're gonna want to break down and cry, and that's okay. A lot of the time what I do, my mom used to write in journals and stuff. She used to write me little notes. We have a lot of pictures, and what I like to do is just sit down and get cozy on my bed and just look at these pictures, read these stories, and have a good cry. Because a lot of the time it helps. For me, I always keep most of it bottled in, because I don't want anyone else to suffer with me. So my tactic was to heal myself, and I'm doing that just remembering things, and I write in my diary my favorite memories so that I never forget them. I remember that year, that first year, I wrote a whole bunch of things down about things I loved doing with her, the memories that I cherished the most so I would never forget, and I wrote down what she looked like, what she smelled like, and just those things that you want to keep with you forever. I always have to say goodnight to all my family because I'm afraid that in the morning I'm not gonna see them again, and that's the way I cope with life, you know. And we all find our own different little niches that we like to, I don't know if I use the word right, find comfort in. But yeah, if somebody tells you that you should be over your grief at any point in your life, they're lying. It never goes away, really. It just gets a lot easier. You guys know I have that Pandora bracelet. I'm gonna get a little charm that has that kangaroo with the Joey in it, and I'm gonna get that to symbolize her as well. So you can do things like little mementos to keep her memory. And a piece of jewelry if you're a girl. If you're a guy, you can keep a keychain, engrave a keychain or something, or I don't know, anything like that. I want to sort of reach out to people, to especially teenagers like me who have lost someone, because that way I want to be able to help people with my experience. I don't want it to be something that I don't take anything from it. I want to take as much as I can from it and apply it to the world and help people. So hopefully I'm helping you guys with this. And say for example your parent died from like a heart attack or something like that, or your sister died from a stroke, or I don't know. You can always be a proactive person and say, for example, donate to the charity or go on those runs and promote things like that. And what I'm going to do is, when I'm an author, which hopefully will be very soon because I finished my recent book, I'm going to make certain percentage of the sales of my revenue. I'm going to donate to the Heart and Stroke Foundation because it's very close to my heart. Also, during these phases, a friend, or if you have a really good friend, you're really lucky. At this point, I didn't really have a good friend. I haven't really had a good friend until really realized that they were going to be there for me until this year. I've really gone through the worst people, and people who just weren't ever really going to be there for me. They were just using me. At least that's how I felt. So I never really had that sort of connection with anybody, and my best friend was my mom anyway. So if you have a friend, then use them. If they're your friend, they're going to be there for you. They're going to hold you when you need them. That's this video. Yes, I was smiling a lot in this video because grieving is okay. You can smile too. I kind of like this camera position. But I don't know. This video is now 19 minutes and 28 seconds, so I'm going to have to try real darn hard to edit this thing down. I'll see you guys in the next video. Look, I did this. Have you seen the tutorial for this look yet? So cool. I'm gonna go to school like this. Oh yeah. Okay, good luck everyone, and keep smiling. Keep your heart lifted, and remember that they loved you, so they want you to be happy, okay? Oh. When I was grieving, I found an outlet, and guess what that outlet was? Makeup. So find your outlet, get something to distract you, get something to help you through the process. That's it. I'm gonna stop rambling, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I love you.